us to YouTube Live. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to the God Guru Sri Prabhupada. All glories to beloved, wonderful devotees, and all glories to our revered speaker for today, His Grace JIVA TATTVA Prabhu. Dear devotees, we thank you all for being here as always. Shri JIVA TATTVA Prabhu, thank you so much for being here. We should have seen you last week, but we're seeing you today because we had a special program for last week. So thank you for adjusting your schedule to be able to be here with us today. We really appreciate it.
Hare Krishna, Sadhguru. Thank you for giving the opportunity, because now I am in the Kartik Mass. I have the opportunity to speak during the Damodar Mass. So.
Yes, we are. We are.
Every day.
Yes. How we wish we could be in that mood every day of our lives. But we are in the month of Kartik, yes. We may put the verse on the screen and then you take it over from me, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. In the meantime, as the verse is coming on, please join us for the invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyet Shrotam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shamana Kirtanaha Hridayantastho Bhadrani Vidhunoti Suhasatam Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavti Nashtiki. Hare Krishna. So today we are covering a very sweet verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 13, verse number 31. And this is where, just to give you a background, Sage Maitreya is continuing to glorify Lord and his devotees to Vidwan Vidur. So again, at this particular time, he's still referred to in the Shastras as Vidwan. He becomes Mahatma after he has self-realization aspects, once he gets all the wonderful insight from Maitreya Muni. Swadham strayodhatraya mahim nimnagnam sa uttitaha samruruche rasayaha tatrapi daityam gadaya patantam sunab sandipita tivramanyuhu. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Boar very easily took the earth on his tusks and got it out of the water. Thus he appeared very splendid. Then his anger glowing like the Sudarshan wheel, he immediately killed the demon Hiranyaksh, although he tried to fight with the Lord. Purport? According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Vedic literatures describe the incarnation of Lord Varaha, Boar, in two different devastations, namely the Chakshusha devastation and the Swayambhuva devastation. This particular appearance of the boar incarnation actually took place in the Swayambhuva devastation, when all planets, other than the higher ones, Jana, Mahar and Satya, merged in the water of devastation. This particular incarnation of the boar was seen by the inhabitants of the planets mentioned above. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti suggests that the sage Maitreya amalgamated both the boar incarnations in different devastations and summarized them in his description to Vidur. Hare Krishna. Please join us to seek blessings from Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshitarine Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tadaham Vande Shri Gurum Dina Taranam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So here, there are two aspects being described in this. And Lord, just with one action, he can do so many activities, and that is paramount. So today's talk will be presenting in the form of an acronym, boar, because this is the boar incarnation, Varaha incarnation, the wild boar. So sometimes we have things happening in our life, and we are all seeking happiness, anand bhaya abhyasat. But to get to happiness, first we have to become peaceful. So there is some disturbance, some negativity. So, cleansing of our heart. And just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, Cheto Darpanam Ajanam. So we have to cleanse our heart, and simple way of cleansing is, in this Kali age, is chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And by taking to this, first we are cleansing ourselves. And then we are also seeking the mercy of the Lord. So as a result of that, what is the prayer? The prayer is, oh, my dear Radharani, oh, my dear Lord Krishna, please engage me in your service, loving service. And we want to lovingly serve them so that we can receive their mercy. So again, this is the two-finger shot, Damodar Leela. This is Kartik Mas. We want to get mercy of Radharani. And so we are constantly seeking the mercy of Radharani. And as we remember, the two-finger shot when Yashoda Mai was trying to capture and trying to bind Lord Krishna, and that's why he's called Dam, refers to the rope, Udar refers to the stomach. So she's tying him at his Udar, so Damodar. But it was always falling short by two fingers. And sometimes people think, oh, as soon as she gets those two fingers short, no, you still have to tie the knots. You need extra. That's where it was falling short of two fingers. It's not that she was not able to connect it. When she was about to tie, the second knot, it was falling short and she couldn't tie it, and it would open up immediately. And she was doing the endeavor. And only when she received mercy of Krishna, then she was able to tie him. Now, this Damodar Leela has happened many times, as Acharyas reveal. In one occasion, Yashoda Mai, when she is tying Lord Krishna with the rope, and she is not finding any more rope. And at that time, sometimes devotees, they are very inventive. They're very, creative in their mindset. So she paid attention to the kantimala that Krishna was wearing. It's made of tulsi. So immediately took that kantimala and tied it to the rope. Now there are two devotees. It's not that just Yashoda Mai is trying to tie. Now Tulsi is trying to tie. And then Lord says, oh, what can I do? Now I have to be tied. So again, there is another pastime where Lord agrees to be tied because there is Tulsi along with Yashoda Mai, helping Yashoda Mai tie Lord Krishna. And so he is glorified as Damodar also. So there are many times the same event has happened, but it has a different flavor, Prabhu Ananta, Prabhu ki Kadha Ananta. So Lord is unlimited and so is his glories. So they are unlimited and his pastimes are unlimited. Even though they may be appearing under the same topic, they may completely look different, just like we hear about Narasimhadev. In one occasion, when Hiranyakashipu was asking for the boon, he forgot to ask whether he can be killed outside or inside the house. He asked many times this boon in different yugas. And in that period of time, Lord Narasimha literally walked on the street, came into the palace, and on his throne, destroyed him once again, delivered him. Because Lord, he doesn't destroy, he is absolute in nature. No matter whether it's good or bad, his action is always to bless the devotee. And of course, in this case, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh, they are actually devotees. They are the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. So we have to look from the perspective that Lord is so merciful. Yet at the same time, Acharyas also warn us that we should be looking at their mercy from the right perspective, Anukulena Krishna, right? So we have to look at what is Lord's desire and then serve him accordingly. And Anushilana means we are following the footsteps of Acharyas. So that is by following the instructions. So today in this talk, we want to present to you, and we should reflect on our own life, how we getting these aspects and how we going to request, and especially in this Kartik Mass. Kartik Mass, of course, we understand Damodar Mass because of the Damodar Leela, but who is Kirti Sundari? Radharani's mother, Vishvanu's wife. And her daughter, Radharani, is also known as Kartika. So Kartik Mass is actually glorifying with different masses having, different months having Lord Krishna and his incarnations like Purushottam Mass, and then there is Vasudeva Mass, and so many other Madhav Tithi and so many other times. But this is a special one because this is Radharani's month and we get amazing mercy. So if you are listening it once, imagine that you are getting the blessings of thousands of times that you are listening. So you can cover the whole year quota, even decades quota, just by paying attention and engaging in devotion service during this Mass, during this month. Mass refers to month. So B, in this case in BOR, acronym is buried in ignorance, but lifted by mercy. So this earth symbolizes the conditional soul sinking in forgetfulness, and it's rescued by Varaha Dev's tusks of compassion. Sometimes when you think of tusk, then you may not realize that there may be compassion in it. Srila Prabhupada gives a very sweet example of a cat, once again, holding a mouse in its mouth. The mouse is in fear that is going to be, it's looking at this cat as death personified and is fearful. But the same cat, when she is holding the kitten in her mouth, the kitten is like, oh, my mom is picking it up. I'm all fine. So when we have to look from that perspective, Hare Krishna, let me turn on the do not disturb. So this similarly, when Lord is picking up the earth, now somebody could say, why did the earth fall first place? Why is it falling in such an area, such a, very difficult and down in the Garbhuda ocean, very dirty and very covered area that is very difficult to find her? While Hiranyaksh, again, a son of sage Kashyapa. So he is a grandson of Lord Brahma. You have to also understand that Kashyapa Muni is a Manas Putra, is Lord Brahma's son. And sometimes people look from that perspective, wait a minute, this is the grandson of Lord Brahma, Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu both. And they are referred to as demons and born as sons of devotees. Kashyapa Muni is a great devotee of Lord Shiva, who happens to be his brother. Yet at the same time, we understand that Lord Shiva's position is much above Lord Brahma, even though it is said that Lord Brahma is his father. Sometimes it's said that the disciple can become sugar, means much higher advanced, while the guru may still be good, which is like jaggery. So these examples are given in the Shastras to help us realize that a father becomes more happy when the son exceeds themselves. But can you imagine the state, the turmoil the father faces when the son is going in the opposite direction? How much pain there is. And that's why in scriptures it said, Puta saputa to kyodhan sanchay, puta kaputa to kyodhan sanchay. Puta saput, if your son is a good son, then why should you acquire wealth? Because the son is good son, he will use his skills and gain wealth to find sustenance. But if put is kaput, it's a bad son, then why should you collect money, to pass on to the sons? Because he will frivolously spend it away. So, all that money will be lost. So these instructions are for us to take to heart to practice in life. Yet at the same time, some people are thinking, I am this body and everyone related to this body belongs to me and has to be taken care by me. Yes, we have to take care, but we have to look at it from the perspective that Lord Krishna is in the center. We have to look at our family, relatives, and everyone in our community. It's like, these are the people Lord has given me opportunity to associate with. So while I'm seeking my progress, I should also try to help everyone else who needs my support, who needs the uh, proper guardianship. Like it is said, the old people, the women, and the children, they should always be protected in our society. And it becomes the responsibility of every single man. But Hiranyaksh, he was just like Duryodhan was aspiration personified of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was blind physically as well as spiritually. And he wanted to be on the throne and he wanted his sons to be on the throne. So Duryodhan was with that mindset. Similarly, Hiranyaksh wanted to be very dear to Hiranyakashipu, and he would carry out Hiranyakashipu's order just to please his big brother, his elder brother. And yet at the same time, sometimes people even misunderstand. Hiranyaksh was actually born first, he came out of the womb first, and then came Hiranyakashipu. But it's based on the Shastra, the one who is born as an embryo, when that is formed. So Hiranyakashipu was the first embryo, and then came the Hiranyaksha as an embryo in the womb. But when they came out in the reverse order. Sometimes people don't pay attention to these facts as well. But there's so many intricacies in the Shastras. So let's stay on this particular topic. So born of ignorance. So we are all, Kala Shuddha Sambhav, we are all born in ignorance. But when we engage in Radharani's service during the month of Kartika, and throughout the day, means again, we remember, Shishi Radha Krishna, we chant their holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Even though born in ignorance, just by engaging in devotional service and calling out to the Lord, my dear Lord Krishna, my dear Mother Radharani, Kirtida Sundari's daughter, please engage me in your devotional service. And this is very nicely symbolized in this pastime also, that Hiranyaksh, Hiranya means gold, Aksh means eye, who has eye for gold. So Hiranyaksh went into extracting gold, and apparently in this universe, Earth is a great storehouse of gold. Yes, there are a couple of other planets also that were there, which are actually having mountains of gold. Srila Prabhupada refers to them as well. Yet at the same time, his focus was on Earth, and he was extracting so much gold from Earth that Earth lost its balance. That's on another pastime, which is during the Chakshusha Manu's time. But this one was when the devastation was going on. First, there was a lot of heat, the fire, sun became 10,000 times stronger. Lord Ananta Shesha, he started emitting fire. Lord Shiva came. Again, all three of them are effectively carrying out this duty of some completely causing very heated situation in the lower planetary systems and the middle planetary systems, except for Mahalok, Janlok, and Satyalok. And then comes torrential rain. And these rains cause the submerging. But so the previous one to Chakshusha Manu, Earth lost its balance and fell into the very dirty part in the ocean. But here in this particular case, Earth was submerged. And at that time, Lord Varahadev appeared. Now somebody could say, why would Lord appear as Varahadev? Why didn't he just appear as himself? Well, just like Hiranyakashipu had meditated on Lord Brahma and received a boon, Hiranyaksha has also meditated on Lord Brahma and received a boon, that he will not be killed in due course of time, as well as, but different kind of living entities. So he was naming all 8.4 million with varieties, types of living entities. But when he thought about boar, he thought, oh, it's such a dirty animal. I don't even like to call its name. I don't even want to. So he actually said 8.4 million minus one. And what's that minus one? A boar, a wild pig, or you can say varaha. And because he was saying, Lord is so humble that he took the form of boar to deliver us. So this is where it becomes very very much appreciative in the eyes of devotees. When people talk about Bor incarnation, they say, why is there not a temple of Lord Varahadev? Well, there are temples of Lord Varahadev. They're at very remote locations. Do you want to go to those locations? Again, it's still the same absolute truth. Lord takes on humble form to glorify his devotees. Just like here, we see Lord Krishna as a charioteer. He's called Partha Sarathi. And he is the charioteer of Arjuna. And when there is a battle going on, let's understand what's the role of a charioteer. The charioteer is driving the chariot, but then he needs to get the direction from the warrior who's fighting in the back, where the warrior wants the charioteer to go. There's so much loud noise of metals clanking and people crying out and getting hurt, or sometimes even in great enthusiasm, they're shouting and they're attacking and so forth. It's not possible for the warrior to tell the charioteer, hey, go left or go right or go strong straight in front. So the way that has to be communicated is that the warrior has to kick the charioteer. If the kick is onto the left side, then the charioteer takes it to the left side. If it's to the right side, the charioteer takes it to the right side. If it's in the middle, then takes it. And now also, if the kick is soft, then take it slow. If kick is hard, then take it fast, quickly. Arjun was kicking all day Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is Achyuta, he never falls down. Somebody says, but someone is kicking him, how could he not fall down? Because he's carrying out his duties perfectly. Similarly, Lord Varahadev, Lord appears as Varahadev, even in a humble form. And that is what is the O aspects. In Bor, O is for Lord is omnipotent. He is fully capable of taking whatever form. Yet he is taking a humble form. So the Supreme Lord Krishna is assuming even an animal form, and of all the animals, the most abominable animal form, to protect dharma and devotees. So that is demonstrating his divine humility. He is there to protect Mother Earth, right? And when he's doing that, he's agreeing to take his form. And when he's picking up with his tusk, he's not just picking her up, he is cleansing her with the touch. And not just that, he is also passing some of his potencies with his touch. Just like when Lord, he touches, he kills the demons, they get purified. What to talk about devotees? How many more times the devotees would get purified? And so we have to understand that Lord, even when he takes the form of a charioteer, sometimes people just take it, oh, he was a charioteer, but we have to understand what kind of duties he had to perform. He had to first prepare Arjun every morning, bathe him, get him fully bedecked, properly ready, all his weapons loaded. And Arjun has to step onto the chariot. First step has to be on the hand, because the step on the chariot is much higher. So he steps on Lord's hand, then the second step is onto the chariot staircase, and then he gets in there. And all day, Lord is getting kicked by Arjun as part of the instruction on how to drive the chariot. At the end, he has to, of course, in the morning, he has to assemble the chariot, make sure that the horses are ready and so forth, feed them as well. And at the end of it, he has to disassemble the chariot, make sure that the horses are taken care of, make sure Arjun is back in his camp and all the wounds have been nicely covered. And when Arjun is sleeping on the bed, in the tent, in the shivir, Lord has to sleep, a chariot has to sleep at the gate, so that if anyone enters to kill the warrior in the middle of night, first they have to kill the charioteer. So Arjun is sitting in the sleeping on the bed, and sometimes people would say, wait a minute, that means Arjun is superior. No, actually, positions and roles are two different things. Lord takes on a very menial position, but his role is never compromised. That is something we should understand, that when carrying out activities, one has to understand that this is for the pleasure of Lordship. And when we do it with love, the position doesn't matter at all. What matters is our love towards the Lord, how pleasing our activities are for the Lordship. And in this regard, I'm reminded of so many wonderful devotees. There was JIVA PRABHU and so many other disciples of Srila Prabhupada. They would do menial service. Sometimes people would say, that they came to the temple and they saw these devotees even picking trash bags, the filled trash bags after the program, and they were looking so blissful that looking at these devotees, they became devotees. Now that is a definition of an acharya. An acharya is a devotee who doesn't have to speak a single word. Just by seeing their actions, others become devotees. And that should be the attitude. And that's what Lord himself is showing. He's setting an example that he took the form of a boar. Even though he's omnipotent, he decided to take a humble form. And when Lord comes up, he passes his potency so that when he, places Mother Earth on the ocean, somebody would say, wait a minute, she was from the bottom, she is brought to the top, he moves her to the waves of the ocean, she will again drop. No, Lord has passed his potency just by his touch, so that now the earth is floating on the water. So this is very difficult for general populace to understand that Lord is omnipotent. And he, just like he made Arjun capable to be able to fight at Kurukshetra war, and the same Arjun, later when Lord left the planet, he was fighting with some cowherd men when trying to protect Lord Krishna's queen and trying to bring them from Dwarka to Hastinapur. He was defeated by this cowherd men. And he was like, I'm the same Arjun. I have the same Gantiva. But what I don't have the mercy of Lord Krishna. He's revealing that to Yudhishthira Maharaj, his brother, that he was defeated by this cowherd man. And he couldn't even protect the queens of Krishna. Now, sometimes people say, oh, some cowherd man stole away queens of Krishna. That was because when these same queens were actually the demigoddesses in heaven. And that requested a great sage Ashtavakra. So his body is deformed in 8 places to perform a yajna so that they become the queens of Lord Krishna. He performed the yajna and gave them the boon that, yes, you will all be queens of Lord Krishna in Dwarka. So they were very happy. Now, when Sage Ashtavakra was getting up from the sacrificial arena, from his seat, because of the 8 deformed places in his body, he moved in a strange way. And these demigoddesses, they had already received the boon, so they didn't really care. Just like sometimes people, they get the degree from the college and don't care about the college anymore, or to the professor anymore. Or the children, when they grow up, they don't care about the parents anymore. They just leave. Or a place, Srila Prabhupada even gives an example that when a lover has enjoyed his beloved, he doesn't care about her. He goes on his way. So these are many various examples. And this is what happened to these ladies, that they started laughing, as if making joke of him. So at that time, Sage Ashtavakra cursed them. He said that, yes, that may be so, but you will be abducted. You will be taken away by some men. So they thought, oh, that is so bad. And they thought that the same Mother Earth, which is saved here, she had a son from Varahadev, and that was just because of the touch. Lord, just by his eyesight, he can do actions, all other actions. This is his touch. So, of course, she had a son who's known as Bhaumasura or Narkasura, and he stole those 16,100 queens, princesses, who later became queens of Lord Krishna in Dwarka. So I'm trying to help you relate that so many times when we are in a humble state, we have to be very much careful how we are treating the devotees. And Lord, when he is protecting, he's killing Narkasura, Bhaumasura, who is actually Mother Earth's son. We are hearing in this case how he's saving Mother Earth. But then later on, in Krishna Lila, we also see how he's delivering his own son by killing him. So Lord's blessing and Lord's killing, they're absolute in nature. They're both good things. But acharyas say that we should be doing anukula, then we are devotees. Pratikulya means, again, Lord may just send one of his messenger to annihilate. And time is his time. I am devourer of all things, Lord Krishna says. So here we are seeing as how Lord is showing anger for dharma, just like Arjun. He is experiencing, he has to use his anger, and he's carrying out his fighting with the Kauravas and the army, and he's showing his anger for dharma, even though this is love for devotees. Of course, there is love for devotees. So we are seeing a contrast in Lord Varahadev, and we can relate to Lord Krishna's activities as how even when Jai Vijay were cursed by the four Kumars, Sanak, Sanatan, Sananda, and Sanat Kumar, at that time, Lord granted, yes, you curse them that they will be sent to material world, material universe, they will be sent. But then he gave the choice to Jai Vijay. Do you want to be born, have 7 births as devotees or 3 births as demons? What did they choose? Now they are spiritual beings. So there cannot be any doubt when they decide something. What was their choice? They actually reasoned. They said, 7 times birth and death, that is going to be very painful. And my dear Lord, we always wanted to have a fight with you, which we cannot have in Vaikuntha because everybody is on reverence, worshipping you. So this is an opportunity for us to be born as demons. They chose to be born as demons for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. And always remember, the glories of a Leela is not based on how wonderful Lord is. Lord is wonderful, He is unlimited. But it is how strong and how effective, how powerful the demon is. And this is Hiranyaksh. He was also born in ignorance because of the effect that he was conceived during the dust time. And there was a time that he was, just by twisting left and right, he was able to do the churning of the ocean. When Lord had not revealed to him that by churning of the ocean you can get Amrit. It was when Bali Maharaj came. So Hiranyakashipu, then came Prahlad Maharaj, then came Virochana, then Bali Maharaj came. And at that time, when Devatas were defeated, they came to Lord Vishnu and said, please help us win. Lord Vishnu said, okay, why don't you go and get an alliance with Bali Maharaj that you both will churn the ocean and then you'll get the Amrit, the nectar, and you'll become immortal. And I'll make sure that you get it and they don't get it. And we hear about Mohini avatar, incarnation of Mohini. So here we are seeing that Hiranyaksh was in ignorance. He was asking to become immortal while he could himself, just by twisting, he could churn the ocean. But he didn't know that it can result into something. Sometimes we see that in our life, don't we? That we are carrying out an activity which could be our greatest boon, but we do not know. Sometimes we are thinking, oh, Adha Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Bhajan Kriya. So once we have Shraddha, faith, then we have to have association of devotees and then we engage in Bhajan Kriya, devotional service. Wait a minute, but what causes the faith? Acharyas reveal there are actually 2 causes of faith. One is Mahaseva and then there is Kripa, Sadhu Kripa. So these 2 effects cause, sometimes unknowingly doing some good activities for a devotee causes the blessings to come to us. And here we are seeing how anger is being used for dharma. Lord Varahadev is using this anger to kill Hiranyaksh. And also at the same time, reflecting his love for the devotees. So while he's fighting, he's also satisfying Hiranyaksh by saying, yes, Vijay, you wanted to fight with me, I will fight with you, and so much, so well that you will be glorified, and of course, Mother Earth will be delivered. And what is the effect in both cases? Demons and Mother Earth, for Hiranyaksh and Mother Earth in this case, is to restore to light. Mother Earth is restored back to her position, while Hiranyaksh is delivered and goes back to his position to be ready to come for the next incarnation. So again, we hear about Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu, then we hear about Ravan and Kumbhakarna, and then later on, we hear about how they appeared as Dantvakra and Shishupal. So this is his restored to light. Similarly, Mother Earth is restored to light. So we should also engage Anukula, as favorable as Lord Krishna desires, in this Damodar Mass so that we can return to Radha's shelter. Just as Varaha lifts the earth, Radharani lifts our hearts from forgetfulness into the light of devotion, especially in this Damodar Mass. And this is where, my dear devotees, I wanted to bring your attention that this is an amazing verse where we are seeing how Lord is lovingly delivering Mother Earth and killing Hiranyaksh, but in reality, bringing both of them to light. And this is the example we should be taking. Srila Prabhupada used to give so many examples that Lord Krishna is Surya Sama, Maya hai Andhakara, Jaha Krishna Taya nahi Paya Radhikara. So we should look at this incarnation, Lord Bore, as today's acronym, where we are all buried in ignorance, but it's only by Anukulera Krishna, by engaging in devotional service, by chanting with all our heart and to serving Shishi Radha Damodar, we can be lifted by Lord's mercy, and especially Radharani's mercy. And Lord is omnipotent, yet he takes so many humble forms. This is the glories of the Lord. When Lord even runs from the battlefield, he's glorified as Rancho. Why? Because that's supposed to be a very abominable thing for someone to do, running off from the battlefield as a Kshatriya. But Lord is running just to take away Jarasangha and his army away from Mathura. And in the meantime, all the citizens have been taken from Mathura to Dwarka. So all these things are happening. And devotees, we glorify these forms. Lord Damodar, he's agreeing to be bound by his mother. Does that make his mother higher than him? No, he wants to glorify her devotional service. So this is where he is taking a humble form, even to be bound by the mother, and also to carry out so many activities by one single action. And he is using anger for dharma, right? Which is also another love, reflection of love for devotees. And R is to restore us to the light and return to Radharani's shelter. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today, this verse is telling us two contrasting things, but showing in both cases how wonderful Krishna is. Hare Krishna. Open to any questions or comments you may have. Gandhra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Kori Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Gopimanande, Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, as always, for sharing this beautiful verse. It's very interesting how every time every devotee is speaking from the Srimad Bhagavatam, he or she would state that this is a very beautiful verse. So it seems to be like each and every single verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam is so beautiful. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, realizations you may want to ask or share, please indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question or share your reflections. Hare Krishna. Well, Prabhuji, it's very interesting. You mentioned something, and I think you mentioned it twice, because yesterday, of course, we're studying the Bhagavatam in a chronological order. So yesterday, this topic came up during the class that we all know hogs like to be like in the filthy places, and they dig up things from filthy places, like from the mud. So when the Earth planet was captured by Hiranyaksha and kept in the ocean of the Garbo, in the bed of the Garbo Ocean, the Earth was hidden in a muddy place, which is part of the Garba, and that is where Boa, Lord Boa, had to dig the earth up. And I think today you also mentioned something like that. And yesterday, particularly myself, but of course all the devotees here, were kind of encouraged to do a little bit more study on this theme, whether the Garba Ocean has a part which is considered to be like filthy or muddy. And I don't know if you may try to shed some light on this. Personally, I'm thinking that the Garba Ocean must be very serene. That is where the Supreme Lord is lying. And so if you may shed some light in that regard, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sadhu Prabhu. So that's why Jiva Goswami is referring to Chakshusha Manu's time versus Swambhuva Manu's time. Chakshusha Manu, he appeared later, right? First there was Swambhuva Manu, and during that time, what had happened after the devastation was there, all other planets, they were coming out from the water, even the lower planet, but Earth was still in the waters, and that was because of Hiranyaksh having imbalance. But the Chakshusha rain is where it was really in the muddy region. In this particular case, it was in the waters, but it was not in the muddy region. It was just merged in water, and Mother Earth was crying out, "My dear Lord, deliver me," because she is not able to come out on her own because of the, Hiranyaksha's effect. Chakshusha Manu's time, what had happened was Hiranyaksh became angry with Bhumi. He wanted to exploit her extensively. So different time, same pastime is happening, but they are happening at different level. And sometimes we see that as the demons appear in the later times, they are appearing even greater. So that when Lord kills them, he is glorified even more. That's why it's Naveenanam, right? So it's ever refreshing, because there it was Lord, had to deliver her just from the waters. But here she's in the worst part, in the muddy region, the most abominable region where only a boar can go. And that's why, it is glorified. So it was in Chakshusha Manu's time that the earth had fallen so down. So every time the pastime that happens, it becomes even more tough. And Lord, he's carrying out this activity with such a humble mood that he becomes even more glorious than before. So it's not that, and that's, you can think of it this way, that not the same reflection is there in the mood of love. When gopis, they look at Krishna, by looking at the sweet face of Krishna and his wonderful smile and his, the hair and his kundala in his ears, as how they are looking at him, and they become more beautiful. And Lord Krishna, seeing gopis getting so attracted to him, looking at them, he becomes more beautiful. And so there's a spiritual competition that's going above, on and on and on. Similarly, in the material world, the competition keeps going above all and all. Where we see Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh, they were at a distance, not so much related to Lord. Lord appeared as Varahadev and Nasimadev. And sometimes people look at it from the perspective, they also twist, because it was Jadav Goswami, he put the 10 incarnations in the sequence, that sometimes in the materialist scientists, they gave the reason, see, first we had fish, and that's how the human race started. No, humans were there as 8.4 million species. And man is made in the image of God. Bible also says, Quran also reflected, our scriptures also reflected. If everyone is united on one aspect, why should we refute it? Here we are saying that Lord is carrying out his activities to deliver the earth from even such muddy and such dirty places. Like gutter would be much cleaner than the place earth was at that time. But Lord, as a boar, was showing that in a humble mood, what he can do for his devotees. What he can do as a charioteer, he's ready to get kicked throughout the day. If we are just sitting sometimes having a prasadam, somebody comes and kicks us, oh, how furious we become. Who kicked me? Who's disturbing me? Something like that happens. But then if we remember Lord Krishna, like what was the service he was taking to be with his devotees. And here, in case of Mother Earth, can you imagine? Means he's doing this to please the earth, to save her from that abominable state, and bring her up. So we are looking at our mother was in that state, and Lord is delivering her, right? And that is the state. Means we also have the same ignorance. And as Srila Prabhupada explains in his purpose, the ignorance level keeps going down and down. People are getting more and more ignorant towards the spiritual aspect. And as Kali Yuga progresses, only one shelter, is there. What is that? That we have to take to the chanting of the holy name. Shukdev Goswami reveals it, that this Kalir Dosh Nidhe Rajan, this Kali age is an ocean of faults. Astiha Ek Mahangana, but it has one great quality. Kirtana Deva Krishna, say, just by glorifying Shri Krishna. Mukta Sangha, we get delivered from this samsara, all this dirt, all this ignorance, Param Vajit, and get lifted to the spiritual status. And that is for us as jivas, that we also have hope. And Lord, he comes as it's his mercy that he never leaves us, and he is always ready to deliver us. All we have to do is take to the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna. Does that answer your question, Prabhu?
Yes, it does, especially like getting to know that the Chakshusha and the Swayambhuva areas, there are some differences. That helps. Because I was wondering how would part of the Garbo Ocean be muddy, maybe filthy for Varaha to go there and then dig out the earth. But the explanation you give in that different areas and slight differences in the pastime helps. Yes, it does help. I may have some other questions, but we have Harichakra Prabhu's hand up. So Harichakra Prabhu, please, you may unmute. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you.
Dandavad Pranam, all glories to you, all glories to Prabhupada, and all glories to the assembled devotees. Yeah, in your lecture, you mentioned the reasons why the Lord took birth as a boa. And if I heard it properly, it's like when the Lord was appearing as Nishangadev, he specifically appeared in that form to fulfill his devotees' word that Lord Brahma had given such a boon to Hiranyakashipu that no animal can kill him and neither can any human kill him. So he came in the combination of man and man. So in your talk to you also mentioned that Hiranyaksha has also requested immortality from Lord Brahma. And in mentioning the living entities who can kill him, he was so disgusted with the boa that he did not mention the boa's name.
Yes.
So, did the Lord appear to fulfill the boon of Lord Brahma, or was it because the water was dirty? That is why he decided to choose the body of a boa.
Very nice question, Chakra Prabhu. So when we use our speech, Goddess Saraswati, she takes position and drives our speech at times. Just like even Duryodhan, he says this verse where all these warriors have gathered over here to die for me. And the verse ends with Visharada. And Sharada is name of Goddess Saraswati. So she is putting a signature here. So she is making Duryodhan say that all these kings who have come to my side are ready to be killed in this battlefield. Similarly, when Kumbhakaran was asking for boon from Lord Brahma, and Goddess Saraswati realized that he's going to ask a boon which was almost make him immortal. She sat on his tongue and said, so he asked, may I always sleep? Because he liked to sleep a lot. He used to eat a lot and then he would sleep a lot. He wanted to sleep because his sleep was always disturbed. And that is like asking for death. He wanted to sleep, infinitely. Then Ravan intervened and said, no, he asked by mistake this boon. At least allow him to be awake for, a day, 24 hours in a year, so that at least he has some life. Similarly, it was Goddess Saraswati who sat on the tongue of Hiranyaksha and made him feel disgusted of this thought. And also, Lord Krishna is, of course, he's the cause of all causes. He's the one who caused this ignorance in Hiranyaksha, not to speak the boar's name. He was speaking of so many other animals' names, but he didn't speak that name and make him become forgetful. So even ignorance comes from the Lord and remembrance comes from the Lord. Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishto matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, so I am sitting in everyone's heart and from me comes smriti jnanam apohanam. Smriti is remembrance, jnanam is knowledge, and apohanam is ignorance. So when he's speaking this, all three factors are in effect. Lord has withdrawn his knowledge, given him ignorance, and make him forget what he should be asking. Hare Krishna. Does that answer your question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, is that okay with you?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Anyone else with something to ask or to share, please? You may indicate by using the hand or your physical hand. Prabhu, you see, Krishna. There was once a devotee called Govinda Prabhu. He was a medical doctor. And he wasn't a devotee, he was an Indian by birth, but he was in the US, medical doctor practicing medicine. And he did surgery on one ISKCON guru. And this guru refused to get anesthesia.
Mm-hmm.
So he was shocked that how does this Westerner take to devotional service and actually live like he is not a body. So to cut everything short, he became a devotee just by seeing how a devotee was completely above the body. And then when he told his mother-in-law that he's decided to become a devotee of Krishna, the mother-in-law told him that, I'm happy you decided to become a devotee of the Lord, but why do you decide to worship Krishna? This Krishna is very mischievous. Now, the question I have is, this Krishna, because of this quality of renunciation, he's so renounced, whether you recognize him as the Supreme Lord or not, he doesn't really care. But we are here struggling. We are trying to serve this Krishna. We understand he's the Supreme Lord. He can do and undo anything, everything. Yet, this Supreme Lord oftentimes just let nature take its course, and you can hardly tell the difference between his devotees and the non-devotees. And as such, sometimes people who are not devotees of Krishna, they will ask you, you say you worship God, you worship Krishna. What is the difference between you and me? So, because we are trying to serve Krishna, we're trying to please Srila Prabhupada. So whether Krishna answers our prayers or not, we are still here trying to serve. But what do we say to non-devotees when they see devotees go through the same struggles, the same difficulties? Even, in fact, sometimes the devotees even go through much more difficulties than the non-devotees. What do we tell these non-devotees? For them to be encouraged to try to serve Krishna also. Please help.
Hare Krishna. There are various level of responses that we can give. Sometimes I've seen for young generation, they can relate to Mahabharata. They have all heard about Mahabharata, Kurukshetra war and all. And they're looking at three personalities. They're looking at Yudhishthira Maharaj, they're looking at Duryodhana. Yes, they are opposites. But then the most mischievous is Krishna in there. Because Yudhishthira Maharaj, he follows every rule of dharma which hurts him. He always cites a rule of dharma which actually goes against, causes him to suffer. Duryodhana, on the other hand, is using all the rules of dharma, all the sayings that benefit him only. He never says anything that hurts him. So he's looking for his benefit. Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, I will suffer because dharma says so. Krishna is ready to break every rule of dharma for his devotees. So this is sometimes very very puzzling. But then when you say for his devotees, then every perception changes. A father has to take care of his two sons. One is a very good son, one is a very bad son. So for the good son, he is engaging that son in activities so he can progress nicely. But he's disciplining the second son so that he stops his mischievous behavior and starts to act like the good son. In both cases, father's position is same, but the actions are different. Both sons may be doing the same activity, right? Let me give you an example. Fire on its own burns. One may be using the fire to cook something for the Lordship. Another one may be setting the house on fire. Same action, but has a different results. So sometimes when devotees are engaging in activities, the focus is they're doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. They may be doing exactly the same activity. They may be doing exactly the same job, but it is for the pleasure of Krishna. And understanding that we can only make our endeavor. There has to be an external, a higher element, mercy of Lord, present for it to be successful. While a materialist, every time that they are able to do something and they get success, they own that success, that this success is mine. That's where the flaw lies. And every time I have even seen sometimes people glorify, such as a sadhu is so amazing. Well, they forgot to see that the sadhu had mercy of Krishna. The mercy of Lord is so amazing that the sadhu is blessed to be able to achieve such heights. And sadhu is so dedicated and surrendered to Krishna that should inspire us to surrender like that sadhu is, that saintly person is. When we see that difference, then we start to help them understand. So young generation is really motivated by this. Older generations, they are actually more trouble. And I would say sometimes the teenagers also, they have the same thing. Above 60 and below 16, those have around 16 and 16, they have the same kind of dilemma. They are troubled. Why is Krishna, dancing with 16,100 gopis, and many of these gopis are wives of other cowherd men. This is immoral behavior. Well, Parikshit Maharaj very clearly asks, and Shukdev Goswami gives the explanation that these gopis, their material bodies were lying at home with their husbands. They had come in their spiritual body to Lord Krishna. And who is the true husband of every living entity? Again, is Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, when he was visiting Dallas, he told the temple president that even your wife belongs to Krishna and you are enjoying her. You're trying to enjoy Krishna's property. The temple president became angry. He was furious. But that's reality. A fact is a fact. So sometimes we are trying to enjoy Lord Krishna's property, thinking it belongs to us, but everything belongs to Lord Krishna. Bhoktaram yagatapsam sarvalok maheshwaram. He is saying, I am the beneficiary of all your, yagya, all sacrifices, tapa, all kind of austerity. Sam is all. similar category of activities. And he's the Maheshwara, he is the Lord, proprietor of all material and spiritual things. Is there anything that exists beyond these two realms, material or spiritual? Those are the only two opposites we see. But we are trying to enjoy, that makes the difference. So a materialist person may be doing it for their sense enjoyment, while a devotee is doing it for Krishna's enjoyment. That is where the difference lies, and it's such a subtle difference that people may not realize. But when it comes to the point of success, a materialist will say, yes, I have attained success. When there is a failure, then they have a tendency to point finger outside. They can even point finger up by saying, this is all, God's doing. All this misery is coming to me because God is punishing me. He's my enemy. But he says, Suhidam Sarva Bhutanam. So he is the best friend, well-wisher of every living entity, not just of human beings, but all 8.4 million species, everyone. But people, we, because of our different mindset, make that distinction. A father is disciplining versus encouraging. He's encouraging the right action and he's trying to stop the wrong action. Why? Because both are beneficial. His actions are beneficial for both sons. Where the sons are. Similarly, we should look at where we are and where we want to be, where Krishna wants us to be. And those who are scholars, for them, we can just state one verse in Bhagavatam and point to them. Ete chamskala pumsa krishnastu bhagwan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam mridayanti yoge yoge. So, all these various incarnations in the 3rd chapter of 1st canto that has been described by Sutta Goswami, saying that these are all portions and plenary portions of Lord Krishna. But Lord Krishna is Bhagwan Swayam, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And also the very first verse, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Right there, Vyasadev himself is establishing that Lord Krishna is Param Satya. Dhimahi, I meditate on the Supreme Lord. Lord Brahma, in his prayers, he is carrying out an invocation prayers itself. He is saying, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Nadiradir Govinda Sarva Karan Karanam. So he's calling out Krishna specifically. All other verses talk about Govinda. Doesn't say Krishna, but the very invocation verse sets it apart. He's saying Ishvara Parama Krishna. There are various kind of Ishwaras, various kind of proprietors, owners, but the top one who owns everything is Krishna. And his form is Satchit Anand. He is eternal, full of knowledge and blissful. Anadi Govinda. There is no one older than him, and he is the oldest of all, Adi. And who is saying Govinda? Govinda has 3 meanings actually. One is, yes, one who gives pleasure to the senses. Second is one who gives pleasure to the cows. And third is, referring to this verse today, who gives pleasure to Mother Earth. Sarva Karan Karan. So he's the cause of all causes. Sometimes people say, oh, I did this bad thing because it was Krishna doing it. No, it was us doing it because our intentions were wrong. If Krishna is doing it, then his actions will always be beneficial to humanity and to all living entities, for that matter. Does that answer your question, Prabhu? I gave you an elaborate one.
Yeah, it does. It does answer. But it's very funny and interesting at the same time how every answer to a question also brings up further questions. And
Yes.
that is in this human life, where I got my body from Africa, there are quite a number of it's called preaching style, which I do not very much support. But it is very much well appreciated by lots of people from that region, in the sense that people first approach God for relief. And so when people are in dire need whether it is economic need, whether it is health need, or whatever, it is wise that they approach God. So they do approach God, but they want their material problems solved. And here we are as devotees, our primary reason for serving God is not for him to solve our material problems. But if one does not have his body together, how is he going to serve God in this world? And so people are in search of material, physical well-being. And so there are some devotees who take to the preaching of, they may not like outwardly say that this is prosperity preaching, but that is basically what they're doing, which to me goes against Srila Prabhupada's teachings. Srila Prabhupada's movement is not about material prosperity. It is part of it, but it's not the main focus. But because people are in such dire, desperate need of their economic, material needs and wants, they resort to God, and sometimes they go to devotees for this kind of help. And sometimes devotees are able to help them, whichever method, I don't know. But it is, to me, it is not helping in the sense that that is not what ISKCON stands for. But at the same time, people need such help from God, and there are some devotees who are trying to do that. So there is always a conflict, and that brings me to why Krishna would allow, so why Krishna will fulfill a demon's desire against his own devotees. Why would Krishna allow Lord Brahma to give Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu all these boons and to disturb all the living beings on the earth planet? Simply because one, excuse my language, crazy demon performed all these tapasyas and was given the boon, and now those who are devotees of the Lord are suffering. Why would Krishna allow such things to happen? It's my bewilderment. This Krishna, of course, I know it's difficult, it's almost impossible to understand, but sometimes this Krishna, I don't know. I don't know. Prabhu, please help, because I'm confused why Krishna should allow a demon's desire to be fulfilled, even though such fulfillment is going to be hurting his own devotee. I don't understand, please.
Hare Krishna. So let me break your question into three different parts in my response. First is, you gave Srila Prabhupada's examples, his teachings. We were progressive at that time. If you look at current ISKCON, or the current practices, we are regressive. We are taking a step back by saying, you know, Srila Prabhupada said that, but it's not very practical. We would do it this way, and we would do it this way. We would do it this way. First big difference has come. Let's take example when Srila Prabhupada came to US, he was encouraging, he was creating leaders after leaders in no time. And he was preaching so strongly that these leaders had firm faith. Most of these leaders, some of them were even 18-year-old. Japataka Maharaj joined when I was 18 years old. These leaders, they are great pillars in ISKCON, right? And these leaders were also creating leaders very quickly. But over a period of time, some insecurities came in. Maya Devi normally strikes when we are most unaware. And that's what happened. Then we started having leadership workshops, but forgot to create leaders. We started giving out certificates on leaders. That's exactly like what the universities are doing. They are creating engineers and doctors, but these engineers and doctors, they are going out not to serve the humanity, but to sustain their living. So now the leaders are going out there And sometimes they're establishing temples so that they can sustain their living on the temple. But they're engaging in devotional service nevertheless. That's their reasoning, yes. But are they doing true leadership? That's a different question. Are they really creating leaders? Because a leader is only recognized if he's or she is creating leaders. So first, progressive to regressive, that's the path we have taken. I gave just some Wednesday call when I was giving a talk. How this has happened? I gave an example of Kodak company. You remember the camera company?
Yeah. Yeah.
In the past, there used to be this big cameras, and the plates used to be there, and they would flash the halogen, and the aperture would open just for a fraction of a second, and they'd capture the picture. And then the whole bulb would burn out. The plate was only one-time use. So the Kodak company, they came up with this brilliant idea. Why don't we create a magnetic strip, a reel, and that can go into an instrument, and the aperture will open with the click of a button, something, a lever, and then we'll capture those images, and then we can create the negatives, and then we can create positives from negatives. Great. Kodak became so famous by doing that, it revolutionized the way people are looking at creating photos. And people could immediately just carry in their pocket, and with their family, they can do that. And then came camcorders and so many other things. Then came the arena. While many places, even Disney was saying, Kodak moment spot. This is you should take a picture here. It's a Kodak moment. So Kodak was so famous. Then came digital cameras. They said, same, different executives came onto the board, and they were posed this progressive path. We have to go digital. Everyone's going digital. These directors and CEOs, they said, but we got millions of reels sitting in the warehouses in our godowns. What will happen to that? We will have millions of dollars of loss. We can't take that loss. They refused to take that path forward. The same path that they had taken to move forward, they refused to take it because of their loss mindset, that we'll have a loss. They didn't think of that loss, that it could have been a sunk cost when they were when they implemented already back in those times millions of dollars just to create the camera reel and the camera and all that apertures that they can do the camera stuff. And now we don't hear Kodak's name anymore. There's Canon and so many other companies out there because they went digital, they went progressive. Kodak died in this process. Unfortunately, we see that our leaders are getting old and we are not having young leaders. Of all the four sampradayas, we are the most aggressive right now. I know my friends who are following Shri Sampradaya, those who are following Vallabhacharya, Ramanacharya, other sampradayas, they're progressive. And then their sons, they're going out preaching. And these are 20-year-old, 30-year-old. They're pujaris in the temples in Vrindavan. They're serving, and they have millions of followers. But we have put blinders on us. So we only see ISKCON, and we are only focusing on ISKCON, and this is how we should go. And then sometimes we either make distinction on this, and then I'm coming to the second part, that people are going materialist, and this materialist should take to Krishna service. Lord Krishna himself says, Chaturvida bhajante maha jana sukritan arjuna artho jigyasu arthati jnana ischa bharata shiva. So four kind of people, they take surrender of Lord Krishna. Those who are looking at artho, jigyasu arthati. Those who are in distress, who are inquisitive, and arthati means looking for some economic development, wealth, prosperity, some form or other, and jnani and then one who is looking for knowledge, a jnani. Sometimes when you say impersonalist is actually a jnani, just has a limited perception of who the supreme absolute truth is. And we see Shankaracharya's followers, they were delivered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We hear about Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya speaking for 7 days. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't interrupt him, let him finish all his thoughts. And then after 7 days, Sri Bhattacharya is thinking, I've been speaking for 7 days. This young sannyasi has not spoken a single word. Has he even understood? When he asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, have you understood a word I have said? Lord's response was, yes, I understand Vedanta very well. But why are you clouding it up with your own perception, with your own speculation? And then when Lord started speaking, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was completely taken aback. Devotional service is very simple for a simple-minded person. If we are making it difficult, and for others, or we are using criticism instead of encouragement, we should be grateful that these people are coming to Krishna, first of all. Because Krishna has one amazing thing that other demigods don't have. What is that? He fulfills their desire, but again, he takes away those material desires. He cleanses their heart of those material desires in the process. We have to have enough faith in Lord's activities, in his holy name. And maybe we need to chant more strongly ourselves so that this ignorance from our heart is also taken away. There's a lot of dirt in our heart. Do you think that the doctors who work in the hospital, they are immortal? No, they know that. They also have to take care of their health, but they can only serve others if they are healthy. A healthy mind resides in a healthy body. So we as devotees have to take this responsibility on ourselves that we have to have a healthy body. This is a gift. It's a present that we have currently. Human birth is very rare, Prahlad Maharaj says. And we should not waste it like that. And yet at the same time, united we stand, divided we fall. We have more divisions happening, more differences of opinions happening, and we are forgetting about what factor united us all. Srila Prabhupada's his teachings. We're forgetting about Siddhanta. Yes, we have Board of Education formed recently, and they have been trying very hard. We have been giving Bhakti Shastri classes ourselves. The whole courses, within a year, we would have them finished. Yet at the same time, we would see people would come in just to get the certificate and call themselves Bhakti Shastri. And then after a year, when we meet the same students, we said, how's your preaching going on? Oh, the temple doesn't allow us to preach very well. They don't give us leadership position, even though we have Bhakti Shastri. Well, I took Bhakti Shastri only because I needed to get Brahman initiation. My Guru Maharaj told me he will only initiate me if I have Bhakti Shastri. They forgot the essence behind doing Bhakti Shastri. This is what we are actually now becoming the university Srila Prabhupada was criticizing about. He was saying that these universities are producing, just like Himalayas is going to produce children. Everybody gathered around Himalayas, and there was a big earthquake, and all the mice, they came running out. He said, this is what is happening from the universities. All these graduates and undergrads, who are coming out from this college, they are just like this mice, and they are just trying to sustain themselves. When there is a ship that's about to sink, who comes out first to save their lives? The mice who are hidden in the storehouses and the corners. So that's what is happening to us. We should realize that this is time for awakening. And then the third factor I want to bring is and this is what caused the Kali age to become more strong. We hear about Shringi's story, but we don't take it to our heart. Shringi, the son of Shamika Rishi, cursed Parikshit Maharaj that he would die in 7 days. Srila Prabhupada said that the Brahmins fell first. Then everyone else followed. Yet at the same time, our focus is we have to create Brahmanas, and we forgot to create Vaishnavas. Why Brahmanas? Because you get to go onto the altar and perform Aarti. You get high, you get Mahaprasad, you get this, you get recognition. We hear about even a Mahajana recognizing that Vaishnava is much greater than Brahmana. We hear about Devashi Narad going to a temple and seeing a Brahmana so wonderfully, perfectly following Panchratrika Vidhi and performing wonderful worship of the Lordship. When he asked this Brahmana, the Brahmana is like, oh, Devashi Narad, you have come. Please bless me. And Devashi Narad said, you are doing such wonderful service that itself is a blessing. And then he's curious. Where are you going? I'm going to Vaikuntha. Oh, Devashi Narad, could you ask Lord Narayan, when will I return back home? Sure, I'll ask him. Then as he's walking away, under a banyan tree, he's seeing a cobbler sitting, fixing shoes. And the cobbler sees him, oh, Devashi Narad, what a great fortune I have that I get to have your darshan. I get to see you. So Devashi Narad is very impressed. A cobbler, he is glorifying. So he says, let me deliver this cobbler. So he's glorifying Lord Narayan. In the meantime, the cobbler is wondering, where are you headed to? He says, I'm going to Vaikuntha. He asks the same question, could you please ask the Lord, when will I return back home, back to Godhead? So Devashinara says, okay, cobbler, I'll ask him also. I'm asking about, when he goes to Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, he asks the question on behalf of the Brahmana and the cobbler. What does Lord say? Lord says that right after this birth, the cobbler will return back home. Well, the Brahmana has to take millions of births before he can come back. Sage Narad, he's a Mahajana, remember. He knows, he's supposed to know the Lord completely, but nobody knows the Lord except, even Lord himself doesn't know the Lord himself completely. It is revealed. He's shocked. The Lord says, just tell them what am I doing? What you saw me doing when you came here. So, okay. He goes back to the temple where the Brahmana is there, and he's telling to the Brahmana that it will take you millions of births before you can return. So Brahmana had this doubt. He's like, what was Lord doing by the time when you reached there? Devanshi Narad is surprised that Lord asked me to, share with him. He's asking me exactly the same thing. And he said he was passing an elephant through the eye of a needle. Oh, Brahmana said, oh, you're just joking. You're just putting, you didn't go to Vaikuntha. I completely rejected him. Devashi Narad, Sage Narad is shocked, looking at the, such a weak faith in the heart of this Brahmana. As he's going back to meet the cobbler, when he goes to the cobbler, he says, you'll be going right after this. But, oh, the cobbler is glorifying the Lord. He's not glorifying how wonderful devotee I am. He's glorifying the Lord is so merciful that he's taking me back. By the way, what was my Lord doing? Devishana is still shocked, but shares that he's passing an elephant through the eye of a needle. Oh, then the cobbler starts glorifying the Lord. My Lord is so amazing and this and that. But then there is some other doubt that came to Sage Narad. He said, maybe this guy's sentimental. He's like, how could you believe that Lord is passing an elephant through the eye of a needle? He says, you see the tree, the banyan tree I'm sitting under? It also came from a seed. And that seed came from another banyan tree that had millions of such seeds. And that also came from another banyan tree. So the seed, the big tree can come from a seed which actually contains many big trees and so forth. What is the big deal that Lord is crossing an elephant through the eye of a needle? The explanation was perfectly logical and made Sage Narad realize that this cobbler is a Vaishnava, a much higher being than that Brahmana, who's carrying out his rules and regulations. We have focused away our attention from Vaishnavas to Brahmanas. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. I asked a series of questions, and somehow you've been able to dissect them all to give them answers to all of them. I must say thank you. Thank you for providing me with these answers. And I think all we can do is to pray to know what is right and try to do what is the right thing. Because you're talking about the progressive and the regressive polarities. And those on the progressive side, they are there because of their conviction of Srila Prabhupada's words. Those on the regressive part, they are also thinking that they are doing whatever they're doing based on Srila Prabhupada's words, teachings. So it's sometimes difficult to say to someone, no, I don't think this is what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do it. But I must say thank you. And I'm just trying to accept that there may always be such difficulties where what I'm doing, I think is right. That's why I'm doing. What Mr. B is doing, he thinks is right. That is why he's doing it. But we'll see. It's a bit disturbing to me sometimes, because sometimes when I see what goes on within our precious movement, and I'm not saying this assuming or thinking that there is something or there is somewhere better than what we are in, but I know that we could do better. And I'm just praying and hoping that Guru and Krishna may touch our hearts and we all sincerely do what may please Srila Prabhupada. But thank you, dear devotees. If anyone has something to say otherwise, I think we will be trying to wrap up. We've been here for like...
Sadeh Prabhu, I just want to add that...
Yeah, please do.
Of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, I read so many wonderful stories of your Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Maharaj as well. It's very inspiring all the time. And he set the example. There is no difficulty in devotional service. There is no material condition that can stop us. It's our understanding of the external factor that we feel. It's our conviction needs to be just strong enough. And I have faith that everything will work out if I just do it right with full responsibility. Srila Prabhupada, when initially BBT, they printed Bhagavad Gita, he opened it and it fell apart. And he asked, what is needed? So the devotees, his disciples, they were sitting and they said, Srila Prabhupada, we need more surrender. We need to have more faith. We need to do this. We need to do that. And Srila Prabhupada said, intelligence. We need to be more intelligent to recognize what we are doing, how we are doing, and why we are doing. And we always start with why. Why are we doing something? We should ask ourselves. If Lord Krishna says, Yat karoshi yadasnasi yadjoshi dadasi yat, yat tapasyasi kante tat karusho madapam. All activities you do, and we do activities with mind, body, and words. Whatever sacrifices, whatever charity, and whatever austerities we perform, we should perform it for Lord Krishna's pleasure. So any action that we are doing, we should just ask ourselves why. And then Lord is there to bless us. The wonderful thing is I completely rely, I just keep these books close to me and I get so much directions just by holding them. What to talk about opening them and reading them, that completely is transforming every day, even the same verse again and again. Because these are absolute truth. This is literally incarnation of the Lord. And it is by the mercy of Guru and Srila Prabhupada and the Vaishnavas, their blessings, that we are able to do whatever little we can do. What can we do? We can only be an instrument in Lord Krishna's hand. Sometimes when we start thinking that we are the cause, that's where the fall down happens. Lord Krishna, even to Arjuna, he says, Nimittana matam bhavya savesachi. You are just an instrument. So let us all be an instrument, in spreading the mercy of Lord Krishna, and that mercy is mirror us with Radharani's mercy and love as well, and lift us from where we are. Every day we have an opportunity, every moment we have an opportunity to be better self for ourselves. Hare Krishna.
Well, Hare Krishna. It seems we have one hand up. Do you have time to take it, Prabhuji? Absolutely, Prabhu, please, you may unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Your Grace.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful class. Please, can you accept my respectful obeisances? All glory to Guru Dev, all glory to Srila Prabhupada, and all glory to you. Thank you for the wonderful answers to this Sadev question. I have this question. Sometimes we devotees, it is said that when you become a devotee and you fall, you receive a severe punishment, and at the same time, we kind of have a lot of fear that, oh, if I didn't chant my japa, I'll be commenting offenses to my Guru Maharaj and I'll be punished. Or if I don't do this, I'll be punished. So it's more like the fear become more than the love.
Mm-hmm.
to do our devotional service, especially when it said that if you offend a Vaishnavas, it's your gateway to hell. And even sometimes they said that you'll be offending them, even though you don't know that you are offending them, but you are going to face the consequences. So most of the time, to me, it's more like the fear, even to come to this material world. If we see what is going on, you don't want to come. You pray that you don't want to come back again because of the fear of what is going on. So it's more like the fear is more than the love. You love Krishna and you hear his pastime, which is very wonderful. But at the same time, it's more like the fear is more higher than the love. So how can you help me to overcome this? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Namaste Prabhu. Thank you for asking this question, which actually reminded me a part of Sadev Prabhu's question I didn't answer. Lord Krishna is our best friend. I mentioned that, right? So in our life, anything that happens to us can never be bad, first of all. To us, it may feel like we are being punished, but in reality, it's a reaction of our own action that's coming our way. So if a father is disciplining his bad son, that is to not punish him, but to correct him. That's what is happening. The reaction is to correct us, bring us to that level 0. We did something bad, we went to negative. By getting the punishment, we come to level 0. By doing good, we are going positive, and we get encouragement. Lord becomes the wind under our wings and takes us to a higher goal. On our wings, if there is no air, we cannot do anything. Even a bird cannot fly if there is no air. So the Lord has to provide that. So first of all, anything that happens to our life and anything that we are facing, sometimes people say, oh, such and such person is hurting me, or such and such person is not recognizing me. That is our mindset. It is not other person's doing. This is our karma coming back to us. And we should accept it. Let the cycle finish. First aspect. Second is, Lord is helping us come, just like a diseased person is there. Sometimes he's so diseased that the doctor has to take out his scalpel, which is like a knife and all that, and has to operate on the body of his patient. Why? So that they can remove whatever deficiency or whatever disease that they have. Maybe remove a tumor or fix their heart or something like that. Does that make the doctor bad because he's hurting the body? No. It is to cure the body. The doctor is doing this. So various times we see things are happening in our life to help cure us as living entities of all the material desires and all the self-focused items, or sometimes even distinction on the bodily level. Sometimes I see devotees making distinction on the bodily level. It actually surprises me. Srila Prabhupada, when Mukund Maharaj approached me by being encouraged by 2 other devotees, because Srila Prabhupada's health was not, doing so well, to ask Srila Prabhupada, whose shelter should we take after you are gone? Srila Prabhupada immediately had tears in his eyes and he said, my Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he's a great spiritual master. When Srila Prabhupada is saying that, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj wasn't alive. Did Srila Prabhupada take shelter of any other spiritual master? No. But by his example, he's showing that you have to follow and carrying out the instructions. Vapu Seva is not as important as Vani Seva. We have amazing instructions coming from the spiritual master. We have to satisfy the spiritual master and Krishna will be satisfied. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasada yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. Now, if we act like this bad child who doesn't take the corrective action, the discipline that the parents are giving us, in this particular case, one of our mother is also, Durga. She is referred to, she is Vaishnav Devi. She is the wife of Lord Shiva. Vaishnav Devi means she is a Vaishnavi. Sometimes people, they are saying Maya is bad, Maya is bad, Maya is bad. What is Maya? Maya is we having unwanted desires. Maya on its own is jada. It cannot act. It is we who are having material desires. So who's the enemy? Not the material energy. We are the enemy because we are trying to lord over this material energy. And if we don't take to corrective actions, then Lord has to employ so many doctors. Some of them are known as Shani Dev, right? The Saturn planet correcting things. So some of them are known as Mangal, who's also very angry and very strong. And some of them has to, at the end of life, if you have taken a human birth and you don't take to the proper path, then you have to see Yama. Yama, he's a Mahajana. And you have to visit Yamlok, which is a place which is very torturous and hellish planets. All these are correctional facilities in material world. When you look from that perspective, then automatically there shouldn't be any fear. The fear would be, oh my Lord, let not a bad action happen through me. Please save me from committing any offenses to any person or any being or any group. And that should lift us from fear to duty. Help me carry out. That's why we chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then, my dear Lord Krishna, my dear Mother Radha, please engage me in your devotional service because that is my duty. Jivera Surupaya Krishna Nityadas. I am your eternal servant. And the duty of a servant is to serve the master. But it should bring us even to a higher level because there is no upper limit in spiritual world. There is only lower that we have to purify ourselves. And when duty becomes love, that's the point that we become qualified to live this material world. So we should not be motivated by fear. It is people who have material desires or material motivations and still this bodily concept of life, they experience fear. We have to rise above that. We have to come at least to the level of duty, which is at the level of Varnashram Dharma, the Chaturvarna Maya system Lord Krishna talks about. At least carry out based on our position, the position of this body, our duties. But then much higher is carrying out those duties in love for the satisfaction of Radha Krishna. We should be motivated by love. Vaishnavas are motivated by love. Brahmanas are motivated by duties. Somehow we switch those roles in our society. And we ignored Vaishnavas and glorified Brahmanas. And similarly, the ashrams, we started glorifying ashrams. Of all the 4 ashrams, which one is the best ashram? There is Brahmacharya, student life, doesn't really do anything, is provided by the society and maintained by the society. Then comes Grihastha ashram. Grihastha ashram is where Grihastha works hard day and night, takes care of his family, and also takes care of the Vanaprastha, the sannyasi, and the brahmacharis. Then comes Vanaprastha. He is trying to reduce his bodily demands. That's why this state is there, this ashram is there, to reduce the bodily demands so that more time can be spent in Lord's service. So it's a switch, it's a transitioning phase to sannyasa ashram. And since sannyasa ashram, one is 100% carrying out devotional service, and automatically, as he's delivering the society or she's delivering the society, they are maintained by the grihasthas. But in reality, of all the 4 ashrams, there's only one ashram that's maintaining all other 3 ashrams. But somewhere we went into this worldly hype and said, everybody has to just glorify sannyasi. I forgot that there's a Vaishnava who is much higher than sannyasi. Like, still have some cold effect. So we have to be motivated by love. We have a lot of energy that we are letting go to waste. All this youth that we have, we are diverting them to go through retreats and keeping them engaged in Kirtan events, while they can be individual preachers. If Srila Prabhupada had the same force that we have, I would have said instead of 2%, 98% would have become Krishna conscious on this planet Earth. He said 2% Krishna conscious population would make it Vaikuntha. We are forgetting, we are diverting our youth from becoming leaders to becoming followers. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the answer.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Prabhuji. Very nice question. Prabhuji, I don't know, especially like your humble self, whenever you speak so beautifully, and we're discussing Lord Varaha Boa. You churn, you bring out all the impurities out for people to see who they are, what's going on, and therefore these questions come out. But I can't thank you enough. There are still lots of questions, but we cannot keep you here forever. I see there is one hand up. Ananda Rupamata, please, you may unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, obeisances Sadev Prabhu, obeisances all the devotees. I'm just trying to fulfill the service. My husband asked me to remind him. He had a hard stop within an hour, but I didn't feel like stopping him. But I think he's going to have some reaction because of that later on. So I thought I should raise up my hand now and let him know your part.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for doing this service. This is always the difficulty with Krishna Katha. You touch it, it's very difficult to let go of it. It's so sweet, even when you know you have other important things to take care of also. So dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute yourselves so that we all with one heart, one love, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our deepest appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace, JIVA TATTVA PRABHU, for sharing his love and wisdom with us and staying here much longer than we should have. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mancha Kalpatarucha, Kripasindhyacha, Patitanam Pavanekam Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Anandakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. All His Grace JIVA TATTVA PRABHU ki Jai. All close assembled Vaishnava devotees ki Jai. Jagat Guru Param Guru Shri Prabhupada ki Jai.
Kartik Mas ki jai, Damodar Mas